+5 at the very least.
Okay, let's start here. I don't know what that little bit was, but let's just start here.
And my tie breaks aren't good. So even if I have a dream finish, which is like, let's say, draw against Hikaru, and then I win some other game, +5.
Even that might not be enough. Yeah.
It probably wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, as we saw, it definitely wouldn't, but I could already feel like it probably wouldn't. So overall, and then my energy, like I also couldn't prepare for Hikaru. I kind of didn't even prepare for that game. I just didn't have energy to prepare anymore. I'm not sure.
It's too quiet. Wait, it's the volume's too quiet for you guys. Wait. Oh, sorry. Let me turn it up. Sorry. Let me jack it up. Let me reload this and we'll start from the beginning. Sorry.
+5 at the very least.
Can you guys hear it now? Is it better?
And my tie breaks
too loud?
Good. So even if I have a dream finish, which is like, let's say, draw against Hikaru, and then I win some other game, +5.
Even that might not be enough. Yeah.
It probably wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, as we saw, it definitely wouldn't, but I could already feel like it probably wouldn't. So overall, and then my energy, like I also couldn't prepare for Hikaru. I kind of didn't even prepare for that game. I just didn't have energy to prepare anymore. I'm not sure I would have been able to predict what he prepared, but and then somehow I found
that was
so first things first, to put this in context, the first thing that needs to be put in context about this topic is that it's very clear that Fabiano was very tired. I mean, I've said this before, but I think many chess players are actually trying to play too many terms. There are like so many events over the course of the year that everybody's trying to play too many turns. I think one of the reasons I've actually done so well over the board is because I'm very careful. I pick and choose my events, and I don't actually try to play every single event under the sun. Whereas I think a lot of players feel like we're in this golden age where there's so many tournaments that they've got to play everything they can, maximize their earnings, because it's not always going to be this good. Now, maybe I'm wrong in my assessment there. Like, of course, I don't know what everybody else is thinking, but my general feel is that everybody's trying to play too many tournaments. So when Fabiano says that like he couldn't prepare, he's basically saying that with all the tournaments, the baggage of playing all these events, he was so tired, and of course it was a very brutal event in the Isle of Man, that he had no energy left.
That was the 4 knights, yeah, with d4, bishop b4, and this.
Yeah, it's like it's a drawing variation. I don't know his exact intentions. I think he wanted basically to have the safest possible position.
Yeah.
And to check it a little bit, some lines where he can kind of try to push the slightest bit, but basically, it is an equal. Like.
Okay, so first things first. Obviously, Fabiano clueless. No, I mean. Dead draw, exactly. No, I mean, obviously you kind of just want to play something that's on the safer side, of course, but on the other hand, like, I did think that Fabiano was going to try in the game, so it was not purely to try and draw the game. I mean, I just wanted to get a position and play, and if it's there, it's there. If it's not there, it's not there. But it is true that, like, for Fabiano specifically, in my unique situation, it is not clear what I should be playing for, because, like, many people assume that I just want to draw the games, get out of town, and qualify via rating. And obviously, on some level, I think that probably some of the players might be very upset with me, because objectively, the odds of someone much stronger getting in now are a lot higher. Like, if you look at the Grand Swiss, I think that if I had not made it in, you would have had someone who's like 2,700 or maybe even a little bit below 2,700 making it in. And then I get the rating spot, whereas now instead of having like that high 2680, 2690, 2700-ish player in the candidates, you're going to have a Wesley So or an Alireza Firouzja. And of course, to be fair to all the 2690s out there, Alireza Firouzja or Wesley So, those guys are on average going to be a lot stronger and a lot more dangerous. So, like, I wouldn't be shocked if Fabiano and Nepo and the others are mad at me, because basically I made the tournament much more difficult because I qualified by finishing in the top 2 rather than getting the rating spot.
It is a variation where it kind of turns into equality with some care from the black side.
Where did things go wrong in that game?
Okay, bishop c3, bad decision. Queen e7. If I play queen e7, I think 99% the game ends in a draw very quickly.
Got it.
Because queen e7, there's even been many games like this. White plays bishop g5, black plays no, wait, how does black play after bishop g5? I think black plays h6. knight d5. There's like games.
Yeah. Bishop d5, bishop f6,
bishop f3, bishop e7, bishop d1, bishop f8,
Bishop
bishop c2,
c2,
bishop c5,
yeah.
bishop c5, bishop c2, rook d8. And this is a position where white really doesn't have much hope to win because, okay, extra pawn, but obvious colored bishops in a very simplified position, and black doesn't really have weaknesses. I think this is what Hikaru was sort of going for because the draw was not a bad result for him. It was just he shouldn't lose the game. That's the main thing. He really shouldn't lose the game.
Yeah.
So bishop c3 first moment.
And just to be clear for anybody who's watching this right now, I'm not gonna say either way whether my intention was to play this or not play it. But like, yeah, it's interesting to listen to what Fabiano has to say.
King h8 is fine. A4.
Did you want to keep chances to potentially play for a win? Was that kind of the thought behind it?
I mean, you can't. In this position, you can't play for a win with black. It's slightly worse for black everywhere. I mean, it's equal, but it's like black has to prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that after king h8 it should be fine, but I kind of underestimated that after a4 my queen is very bad.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, very true.
He mentioned after the game queen a6 instead of rook e8, which I didn't want to play because I thought bishop e7, and then he starts to maybe corral that pawn on c5. I wasn't sure. But okay, rook e8 is not a bad move. Rook d6. h6 is actually a terrible move. And after I played it, I realized, like, what did I just do to my position? It's kind of shocking, but h6 is more or less a losing move.
Yes,
I need to play some move like rook ac8, and then I suffer, but with a draw, still a more likely result.
Yeah.
H6 bishop 4, I was like, I'm just losing. How did I make this move? After he played bishop 4, I was like,
it's funny, by the way, because I disagree with Fabiano here. I think even though h6 loses the game on the spot, I think for a human, even if you play rook ac8 right away, I think there's still a very good chance that you lose the game if you're not super precise there. I think more often than not you're going to lose the game just due to the queen on a5 being so poorly placed.
I wanted to play rook ad8.
Exactly.
This was my idea with h6.
This was bishop e5 and rook takes e6, right?
Yeah, this is a reason, and because I thought rook e6, f6, bishop c7, queen a6 would be kind of equal, and rook c6, I kind of also blundered here. I thought e3 would work, which it doesn't. So obviously
Okay, you guys. Okay, I have to stop the video for a second here because I have to be honest with you guys here. What Fabiano is saying here is not what he said after the game ended. Just to be clear, this is not what Fabiano was talking about when the game ended. Fabiano very clearly, when our game ended, he thought there was a rook b1 move that just won. Let me see if I can find the game. I'll see. One second. Let me see if I can find it on chess.com. Okay, where is it? E-Day Grand Swiss. Okay, let me see. Is the game here? Okay, here's the game. Let me pull it up. Let me refresh the board. And let me close this and let's go back. So when I spoke to Fabiano, and I'll change the scene just so you guys can see it. But when let me use one of the random scenes. Let me turn off this. So yeah, so to be very clear, what Fabiano is referring to with rook a d8 is not what he said after the game. What he said after the game was he thought that after rook a d8, he thought that bishop e5, f6, and rook b1, I think, is what he thought was completely winning. I think he thought that this was the line that was just winning by force. So it's a little bit different. Like this is what he mentioned. Now, of course, like obviously, like he was a little bit out of it and everything else, but this is the line that he actually said. He thought that after rook b1, he was just completely losing. It was not actually about rook takes e6 and bishop c7 specifically. So anyway, back to the video. It's not a big deal, obviously, but just to point that out. Okay, so where were we? Wait, wrong scene. Where were we? Wait. What am I using? Is it this one? There we go. All right. Okay, so let's keep going.
E3, queen e3, but then bishop d5 or bishop d7, he has queen c5. So obviously, I'm stupid. But then, like, what do I do after bishop f4? Because very often, like, one of my moves after bishop f4 I wanted to play was
f6 maybe.
No, rook ac8.
You allow queen g6.
Like rook ac8, I thought, okay, I stop rook c6. He still has to prove how.
Or maybe he's going to say rook b1 here.
And then I thought that after bishop b5 f6, he plays rook b1.
Ah, no. Okay, so
And
oh, this is funny. So actually, Fabiano and I think we had a miscommunication then. We had a miscommunication. So this is really funny after I showed the game. When I asked Fabiano after the game, I was referring to rook a d8. I think he thought that I meant rook a c8. So maybe there's a miscommunication actually, because yeah, rook a c, because here he does mention the rook b1 move.
No, wait, it wasn't rook c8. What was the move? Trying to,
or maybe
I know,
he's
king
confused.
h7.
No, maybe now he's confused. Did you see? Now he's like, wait a second, it wasn't rook a8. So I don't know what happened. I think there's a good chance we were both a little bit confused here, because he says like rook a8. It's like, wait, no, I don't know what it was.
He plays rook b1.
No, but there's takes in rook c7.
No, wait, it wasn't rook c8. What was the move? I know, king h7. King h7, because I thought, okay, I'm kind of trying to consolidate, like rook c6.
Yeah, chess language is hard. Play, yeah.
But after rook c6, I
yeah,
can
it's like there clearly was some kind of confusion.
Yeah.
But then I realized king h7, bishop e5, f6, rook b1. It's like, it's the only way to cleanly win. But after this, I just resign. I mean, it's like how weak my king is kind of surprising.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I played rook e7, which looks bizarre, but I just wanted to stop any tactics with rook b1. Queen e3, then I blundered. Of course, I should play rook a to e8. And I still think it's not at all easy for white to prove
true
a win here or anything. It's like, it's a massively unpleasant position, but
it does feel like his task is easier than yours, I guess, if you want to compare it like that. Like your task to find the best defensive moves is more difficult than him to prove his advantage.
Yeah, the thing is, it can't really go wrong for him.
Right.
Like, worst case, he only wins a pawn, and then he still presses for a long time. Best case, I just blunder like I did, and yeah. Okay, turns out bishop h6 is actually a mistake, but I didn't even realize bishop e5 was just so crushing. Like f6, bishop f6, gf6, queen h6, king g8. And here, like rook a8, I didn't realize this was winning. Rook a8.
Of course.
Rook ce8.
Yeah. See, by the way, this is also true. Like this is very good, because even after the game, when I was on with people, or with the people talking about it, like, even to me, this looks very weird that rook a d1 is just a winning move. Like, it just looks, it doesn't make sense. And you can tell from Fabiano as well, as a serious player, that he also is he's also confused by it, because it just doesn't look, optically, it doesn't look like it's just winning the way that it is.
I guess the idea is rook takes c6 and rook d7. Yeah, that's the.
Yeah, at some point he has rook d5. Like, I play rook e8. At some point he plays rook d5. I didn't realize this was winning. So. Okay, maybe this is not easy to find. Bishop h6. Of course, I have to play rook d7, but this is such a nightmare, because now I'm actually down a kingside pawn.
Yeah,
losing the c pawn is one thing, but losing a kingside pawn, my king is always weak now.
Yeah.
And yeah, after f6, I mean, it's he converted it well, but it did feel like white has kind of an abundance of options, and one of them will work out somehow.
Right.
Yeah. No,
so
that
I
was
didn't really get any chances.
That was definitely a painful loss. Not necessarily. I mean, obviously the result is painful, but also the way it happened. You never got a lot of chances out of the opening, basically.
True.
Yeah, it just like got killed from the opening. It was very unexpected.
Yeah. Cool. All right, let's get back, and obviously the last one against Keimer. That was an interesting opening.
Yeah, so I mean, mostly, I think, yeah, what he says is true. Like, he just he didn't get any chances, and like, that's actually, like, in some ways those are better losses, though, to be honest. Like, if you get a game where, like, you just make one or two bad moves and you just lose the game and you don't have chances, those games in some ways are much easier. They're much more palatable to deal with, because you can't really be that upset. You can be mad at yourself for making one or two moves, but you don't really have chances. Whereas most of the time when you lose, you have to have done something monumentally stupid instead of making like one or two moves that are bad, but they're not like obviously bad. So but in general, I think as most of the comments, yeah, they're pretty standard. They're pretty reasonable. I think more to me, what I'm surprised by is that I'm surprised that that Fabiano is so tired. That's what I will say I'm a little bit surprised by. It's just how exhausted he seems to be from playing. Like, even here you can tell, like, the enthusiasm, the energy is not there. Like, you can just tell that he's actually tired. So that does say a lot. Yeah. Low energy. Well, I mean, I understand. He's obviously played a lot of turns. It's just, it's very visible. Like when you see Fabiano here, he looks tired. And that I think says a lot about just like playing too much chess. And also Fabiano is going to be playing in a couple days in the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz.